Bam the clocks in the chat. We have finished another Martinsville race, 250 laps down of the 2024 National Debt Relief 250. And let me know in the chat, just because I've been trying to nurse it back to health all day. Does my voice sound better? Does it sound better than last night? I just want to make sure I see all the clocks in the chat going. I had a lot of fun with this race. I know a lot of people weren't crazy about the ending. I get that, and we can definitely look into that. But do I sound a little more healthy than yesterday? I don't feel like my voice is going to be gone. So, there is that. But welcome on in, everybody. We're going to be talking about this race as well as what's to come in the next week of the season. We got 4 races left of the full season, 1 race of Xfinity left after this, and Martinsville, I think, delivered again. It was not like the JGR Civil War or the RCR Civil War of years past, but I still think it was pretty fun. But I'm going to say this about the fight. 1, NASCAR needs to stop getting their people in the way of it and just let the drivers have at it. Hold the crews back if you can. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. I was on such a delay that CW in my end actually bleeped out the cuss words that I suppose Chandler Smith said, so I don't know what the hell he said. But what a weak-ass slap. That wasn't a punch. That was a slap. I mean, I've accidentally hit my microphone here harder than that punch was. I see, I have it muted, but I see they're interviewing Sam Mayer. I'm waiting if there's any other fights. Apparently there was a fight that Fox didn't even cover. There were multiple last night after the truck race. But I think that was total weak sauce with Chandler Smith there. And I kind of agree with Cole Custer. I wrote it down here that the punch was so soft he couldn't even tell if it was really a punch. It was a slap. I went back and looked. Yeah, that should be... That should be the question. What was better, the national anthem or the punch? It was an open hand slap. Which, come on, man, be a man. Like if you're gonna hit the guy, be a man. It's kind of funny the threat last week that I have nothing to lose, this and that. It's like, man, if you got nothing to lose, swing away. I was kind of hoping for a fight, if you can't tell. I like fights in NASCAR. Fights are fun. By the way, click that like button. Let's get the likes up while we're talking about this now. Interviewing Sam Mayer after he was the 27th, I believe, DNF for JRM this year. JRM just, I think at least half of those, or near half of those, had to be Sam Mayer himself. They've been pretty awful this year. But your championship 4, of course, Allmendinger and Hill were already in. Now it's Custer and Allgaier. And this is another series, another night, where we see a guy who made it into the next round have an enemy, that being Cole Custer, now with the 81 as his enemy, with nothing to lose. I have a feeling next weekend at Phoenix, at least one of the bottom 2 series is going to have some kind of fireworks. There's no way that they can't, man. No way. I would really, really be both surprised and disappointed if we didn't have crazy fireworks next week. But those are the guys in. I believe the 00 CW is frozen on my end. Shocker. It's just, they better fix it for next year. They probably won't. The owner championship, I believe the 20 is in and the 00 is out, if I'm not mistaken, because the 7 had the points gap on the 00 in that. So 20 is going to be going for broke. But Eric Almirola, 150 laps led of 250 tonight. Absolutely just, I think bitch slapped the field more than Chandler Smith did to Cole Custer. Let's see. Oh, the 00 is in, so it's a 7 out. How does that all work? I don't know. The problem is that the networks really just bring it up only when it needs to be brought up instead of actually covering it. But let's put a poll up here. Which was worse? The national anthem or... Okay, then who the hell is out? Who the hell is out if the 7 and the 00 both are in? Is it the 16 or the 21? Like, you can't have 5 Final Four guys in the owner point, so let me know. Like, it's just, You guys are telling me the ones that are in and out. Okay, just give me the numbers of the ones that are in. But poll is up. That's what I thought. I thought the 00 should be out. Yeah. Are we talking? Okay, guys, we're talking Owners Championship. So I'm just 16, 21, 7, 00. Well, they said the 20 is in the Owners Championship. So I feel like none of us are on the same page. Because people are like, oh, so-and-so's out. Like, yes, I know the ones who are already out are out. Like, you're giving me information I already know. 16, 00, 7, 21 in. But they just said the 20 was in on the broadcast, unless the broadcast is wrong, which wouldn't shock me. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, we're not going to solve this, I don't think, because everybody is saying something. Okay, so broadcast is wrong. I'm shocked. Completely shocked. CW has been complete trash so far this year. Looking at the finishing order and everything about this race, though, back to it. 250 laps led, or 250 laps completed, 150 led by Almirola. 2 hours, 11 minutes, 30 seconds, 7 leaders, 12 lead changes, 13 cautions. Language? I'm a grown-ass adult. I'm 27 years old. I don't need to care about language. Come on, man. We do not need to be as soft as Chandler Smith's punch. Keeping those electrolytes up today. Eric Almirola, the winner, over Sammy Smith by about 6/10. Sammy Smith put up a charge. I give him credit. He was close. Just could not get it stuck down. 20 was just too good. The 8 would have the entry, but the 20 would have the rest of the corners so well. I'm surprised the 8 made it stick. Chandler Smith in third, Custer fourth, fifth is Allgaier, then Creed, Alfredo, Kligerman, Jeb Burton, and Myatt Snyder with the top 10 tonight. From there, we have Herbst, Love, Poole, Hill, and Ryan Sieg, the top 15. DiBenedetto 16th. Williams in the 17th spot, and 18th Ellis, Perkins 19th, 20th Lupton. See, that's what, yeah, okay. There we go. I'm seeing where we're all at with it. I'm going to go with what Matthew said, 7, 00, 20, 21 owners. We'll figure it out. The broadcast will mention it like once next week in a moment where no one will be, paying attention because they don't cover it whatsoever. 21st is Kyle Sieg, Maggio in 22nd, Emmerling 23rd, 24th is Preston Pardus, Cram, the random driver of the week this past week. Sorry, show comes out Wednesday. Should have watched it by now. 25th, 26th, last in the lead lap, Greg Van Alst. Then you have Clements in 27th, a lap down, Van Gisbergen 28th, a lap down. 2 JRM guys out. Brandon Jones, 29th, 30th Mayer. Bubba Pollard finishes 27 laps down on the day, then out for the rest of these guys. It is Garrett Smithley in 32nd, William Sawalich, 33rd, Logan Bearden in 34th, Leland Honeyman, 35th, Parker Retzlaff, 36th. Carson Ware came out to gain a position at the end there, but then pulled it back in from the looks of it, at least, on NASCAR.com. So he is 37th, and AJ Allmendinger in last, 38th position on the night. Let's get the post-race results up. Where are we at? And there you go. Should pop up there. I probably put something wrong. You guys let me know. We know the whole shebang. But overall, I thought it was a pretty fun race overall. I get that, yeah, the ending might not have had a crazy finish like we've seen in years past. We didn't have a big flip-flop in the points, any of that stuff. But you still have a really good race. I think a little too much crashing, especially in the first stage. They definitely were very, very aggressive from the get-go. But I personally liked the race overall. I love Martinsville Speedway. These last 2 races here, Truck and Xfinity, have been really fun. It'll make up for what will probably be a dull cup race tomorrow, though. Knock on wood, the option tire might help. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Let's hope that works. But I want to know, out of 10, what did you think of this race? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I want to know what you think. So, I see a 7 out of 10 from Braden in there. Reverend Shemal Stewart with the 7 out of 10. By the way, I'll read those super chats towards the end. I will read them, I promise. Lots of 8s, 9s. Generally, it seems like you guys are pretty positive on it. It's revolving between 7 and 9 for the most part. A little bit of outliers here or there, but it seems like we're having pretty good. 4 didn't watch. I'd double it. I'd say 8. Boring winner. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I feel like it's going to be weighed down by a lot of people for not having something really great and for having a dominant winner like that. But I personally really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. A little too reckless at the start and at different spurts, but that's kind of Martinsville Xfinity. It's what I've come to expect. 13 yellows, though, damn. For a 250 lap race, that is rough. Yeah, that is rough. Parker Retzlaff did start on the pole for this race, and I actually have it written in my notes. What the hell was that anthem? For anyone, we have the poll going on at the top. For anyone who didn't watch the start, the national anthem was awful, and I'm pretty sure my ears were bleeding. Listen, I get that we want to do nice things for people, but there needs to be a point where it's not nice anymore, and it's just kind of cruel to put somebody who can't sing that well or is too nervous to sing well on national television in front of 1 million people. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, some of you guys are like, I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. Listen at your own risk. Definitely get some ear protection. It is pretty awful. Retzlaff got away really early, 3 wide in the pack, and it was, of course, Eric Almirola because he was the aggressor early in this race. And we kind of had a rash of cautions through this stage. There's not really one in particular I can look at too much. You had AJ with a right front flat. He got into the 0-0 a bit. That's Martinsville. So now there's probably a little animosity between 2 of the championship guys, so that should make it even more fun. I'm telling you, this Xfinity race is going to be real fun. I like that Pop Bottles in the chat saying bro said he didn't even feel that punch. Well, why would he? It wasn't a punch. Marching bands and choirs are the only ones who should be allowed to do the anthem. I feel like people can sing it, but you have to get somebody who can really sing well. But I'm cool with marching bands doing it. Like, I actually really like that. I think that Martinsville doing that more often would be really nice and fit into the old school throwback aesthetic. I'd like that. But, you had that caution with AJ. You had the 91 spin-in. You had Honeyman going around after Perkins got into him. Just typical Martinsville stuff. Guys maybe overcooking it into the corner. Some guys just, a little too aggressive. Retzlaff got crashed too after a restart really late, and it kind of gave some confusion as NASCAR said that would end stage 1 because it was so close. Gave him a 1-lap shootout where Almirola beat Cole Custer to the line in stage 1 by, I believe, 1/1000th of a second. Allgaier in third, Chandler Smith, Love, Herbst, Williams, Sammy Smith, and Creed with Jeb Burton the top 10 in stage 1. Stage 1, again, wild, but there's nothing really too much and too big. It's not like they had a giant big one that, clogged up the whole track. It's not like we had, somebody just completely pile drive the turn wall. Just typical Martinsville stuff. Stage 2 was, I think, a little more chill. You had a few cautions, had a few back and forth. I appreciate the member chat, or new membership. I appreciate that. And we'll address those after we talk about the race itself. There was a bit of tire strategy I liked in it. Ryan Sieg stayed out for a bit, nearly won the stage. 3 to go in stage 2 was when Almirola finally got past him. He held up, had a really good fight, but Almirola won it over Sieg in second. And I'm telling you, man, this one is more strategy based, but looking, how he ran today, finished with the top 15. Ryan Sieg, next year, watch him. If there is not a bunch of new winners, and maybe he's one of them, but if there are not a bunch of new winners, he is somebody who very easily could point his way in to the 2025 playoffs. I'm very excited if this team and with the alliance, if they're able to kind of keep the performance up. A lot of ifs and buts and stuff in the air when it comes to what could happen. But I'm very excited to see what he and that team can do next year with an offseason more of preparation. He ran top 10 for much of the day. From that, kind of got shuffled later on in the race. We can look at too. But Ryan Sieg, Spencer, almost won another stage. I'm telling you, I really think he's going to get a win next year. I really do. By the way, we're going to end the poll here since we're through the first two stages. A 70-30 split here saying that the punch was worse, though many of you didn't see the national anthem, thankfully. By the way, 44 likes away. Let's see if we can get the like goal of 100 tonight. Also, subscribe if you're new. We'll do this after the Cup race tomorrow, championship weekend as well. Live a lot in the off season, and we are also going to do this again next year for the most part. Kind of address that on Wednesday night on NWP, which is on this channel. Just shameless promos everywhere. And YouTube puts it at 69%. Nice. Let's keep looking. Did the flyover turn around? Do not know. I heard the anthem on my phone and it sucked bad. Yes. Jarrett, how many Budweiser hats do you have? Well, they're all Dale Jr. hats. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have like 7 or 8. I have I have one. I have a Dale Jr. hat for each year he was in the Bud car from like 2000 to 2007. I have one for every single year. So I'm a super fan. What can I say? I think I have 8 actually. I need to get one. I need to get one of them they sold at Charlotte back in '99 for the Countdown to E-Day. Let's see. Are you going to the Dome in December? What dome? Let's see. When you say you're a Dale Jr. fan, you're not kidding. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you get into it at like 7, you just sort of like hyperfixate on that driver. It's your favorite, and you just sort of like go for it. Need a 2024 hat now. True. I figure what I'm going to do with that is, because this is what I do with all the merchandise or die-cast or anything I really want, is I just wait like a year or so until everything gets marked like 80% off in a sale, and then I buy it. And again, if somebody wants to get it for me, like, that's great. But I personally like saving money on it instead of getting it unless I really need something. That's the case. But let's go on into the final stage here. We get it back restarted. And listen, I can talk about every restart that we have, but it is literally just Eric Almirola versus. There's a bunch versus Creed. Custer had a couple against him. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith. Like, it all the way down. Every restart at the final stage, the 20 was leading. And at the same time, you'd have people get by him, but he would get by them. You had others that would be taken out. So Walich got into a wreck, kind of a weird one. Definitely a really weird one. Locked it up, had the 5 in the back of him, just under a chain reaction. You had Bubba Pollard with voltage issues. I didn't hear much about him all day, though, so I don't know where he was really running. I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention to that part because the racing, honestly, I thought was pretty good, personally. I thought it was. You had others, kind of spinning. Preston Pardis went off the front of Kyle Sieg right when Ryan needed it. It's like, I think the second week in like the last 3 that Ryan Sieg has needed a caution and Kyle Sieg has caused one. People are like, I wonder. I don't think it was any weirdness in that. It's just coincidental. But it is kind of funny. Like, it's kind of funny that it happened twice. I'm kind of looking through, and one of the big things is when the Preston Pardis caution happened was when Sheldon Creed got caught speeding in the pits, and that was huge for him. He would come back to finish 6th, but he was one of the guys who could actually stick with the 20 and could stick up front with these guys. I think if he were up front running 2nd or 3rd, He probably would have finished second because that's just a Sheldon Creed thing to do. But he could have had a real shot, and I think a better shot than Sammy Smith or Chandler Smith had towards the end there. He also probably could have finished second because, again, that's what he does. But he had that speeding penalty, and I think he caused 2 cautions after that where he just, it seemed like blatantly just ran through guys. So he was a bull in a china shop at the end there. He was very much like his old teammate Austin Hill. But I'm sorry. I'm like, you have no faith in Sheldon Creed. I have faith he'll finish second. I mean, that's good. I like Sheldon Creed, but the man just finishes second so damn much. It's insane how much that man finishes second. I think he crashed Brandon Jones, I believe. I believe that was one of the guys he had taken out. I can't remember the other one. Was it Cram? Or was that? No, Love got into Cram. Who did he get? I'm like looking and seeing if I can. He took the 29 and the 11 3 wide and spun them both out. Again, just running like a chicken with his head cut off into the corner. Reckless disregard for human life at that point, and completely clean those guys out. It's entertaining to watch. Like if I were sitting down in turn 1, back on the where that like little grassy hill is that they have. That's where the seats used to be. Like me slapping Eric's old seats. If I were sitting in those seats, I would have loved watching the 18 every time, but he was a bull in a china shop, man. Creed is the new Daniel Hemrick. Yeah, except he won't win the championship next week. I would love to see him try a backflip, though. That'd be real funny. But, hey, it's also in a lot of ways, again, typical Martinsville. There was nothing egregious in this race. There was nothing like what Dean Thompson did last night, where it was like at least in my opinion, like where it was blatant. There was things that you could see others might be upset with, or it might be more accidental. One of the big things, though, that happened at the end was the one got major damage in an accordion effect that started up with Eric Almirola on the restart with 24 to go. He started to go, and then, okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, I will say that. The Love Cram one was a little overboard. I'll say that. I would like to see a better angle of that, but the angle they gave, it's like, oh, that was bad. Okay, so I take those words back. I take those words back. But as for the Sam Mayer deal, the 20 and the 8 were restarting up front, and Eric Almirola is playing mind games with Sammy Smith, and so he kind of went and then slowed down and then went again in the restart box. That's an old school trick. I mean, back in the day when they would do single file restarts, I remember this in 2005 at Daytona because it caused a crash on a restart, where guys like Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they would do the exact same trick. That is an old school trick. Eric Almirola, he grew up racing, in his career against these guys, raced against them in that, so he probably learned that from them. It's an old school trick. He probably learned that further down than just them, but you don't see it as much anymore. Because NASCAR very much polices what people do when it comes to restart tricks and stuff like that. But it was smart on his part. You want Eric to catch. I feel like we're having like a mini fight in here about the pick points. But yeah, you guys and Eric are really close. But see, I got the win tonight, so even better. But at that point, the one was done. Ryan Sieg was crashed with SVG also on that restart. But Sam Mayer was done at that point. Like I said, I think they said 27 DNFs for JRM at that point on the season. 28, I think, if you include Brandon Jones, because he ended up DNFing after that. Just a rough year for JRM, man. That people are like, man, why are they like doing a clean, a sweep up of the shop for the most part, except for like Justin Allgaier? And it's like, well, the year they've had. But that led us at 16 to go. Final restart, 20 and the 8 going at it. The 8, again, got to within about 2/10. Never could get to the bumper of the 20, though. Ultimately, Almirola was just too good. The experience mixed with a great car, mixed with a driver who loves this track, and this is his favorite track, and he's most comfortable here. And it was going to be tough to beat him. Of course, we had the little kind of hissy fit at the end. I won't even call it a fight. was a hissy fit between Cole Custer and Chandler Smith, where we got a slap, not a punch. Everyone's gonna say it's a punch. It's not a punch. That wasn't a real fight. And if they even tried to fight, NASCAR probably would have stepped in the middle of it and stopped them, and then promoted, hey, look, they tried to fight. Bum, 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 on all the commercials. It's like, just let them fight, man. Let's see. I love watching you guys in the chat just go at it with each other. It's funny as hell. But yeah, I mean, that was it. Again, I gave it about an 8 out of 10. I thought that it was I thought that it was a pretty simple, upfront, normal Martinsville race. Had a bit of sloppiness at the start and then towards the end of the stage, but nothing crazy. And you know, we went off from there. By the way, 10 likes away from 100. Hit the like goal and subscribe. It's always fun, man. We always have more of these. Twitter is way worse. Yes, Twitter is way worse, which is why we're on YouTube, away from all that. Yes, lick that like button. I want to also say to you guys really quick before we go to the super chats and member chats, I want to thank you guys yesterday for being so nice to me on my birthday. I appreciate it. It was really cool, you know, just seeing the chat light up. I appreciate it a ton. Had a very good birthday, and thank you all. It was a very, very nice day. But it ain't my birthday anymore, so let's keep moving forward. All right. It is Saturday. We got one more day left of the weekend. But let's talk about the super chats. There you go. We licked that like button to over 100. Thank you all again for the well wishes. I appreciate it. Alessandro, the Spencer Gallagher and John West Townley fight was better than Smith and Custer. Yeah. I mean, they at least made contact. Really crappy, but you know, they always made it. Let's see. So we got Eckes versus Taylor Gray. Now Custer versus Chandler Smith. Which would be more crazy? Trucks. If you're asking the craziness factor, it's always got to be trucks. Marky Mark with the 10. Custer is cooked next week. Chandler Smith's got to have a little more follow through, man. He's got to have a little more follow through when it comes to stuff, because he was spouting all this stuff off last week and nothing happened. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart for the 2. Would you rather have Love, SVG, or Zilich? I think in the short term, just for the marketing and for the fact that you can get in the Cup playoffs probably pretty easily with them, with the way the road courses are, SVG. But long term, to build a team around, Zilich. Totally Zilich. Love, I think, is pretty good, but he needs a lot of improvement. Connor Zilich is somebody who I think is going to be a star. He's a freak of nature in a lot of ways. It reminds me a lot of Kyle Larson. Chat, who would you rather have? Love, SVG, or Zilich? You know what? I'll put that as a poll. So let's put that as a poll right now. Love. Uh-oh, I have a feeling that part of my studio on the YouTube side is going to freeze for a moment. Let's see if we can get the poll up first. I think we can. Yeah, we got it. All right, vote away. I have a feeling Zilich is probably going to take this one. That would be my pick personally for the long term. Short term, if you're talking about the next 2 or 3 years, I'll take SVG. Just because he can get me those wins, get me in the playoffs, get that extra money for my team. You got that marketing side of it too with him. But Zilich, though, I think he's the long-term guy that you got to look at. Not only for a team, but I mean, you look at the sport. Like they're talent-wise, if he reaches his potential, again, he can be on the level of a Kyle Larson. AK Sharky with the new membership. I appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome aboard. We'll have more streams in the off season, though I will be a little more busy for some different personal factors, but I will definitely try more to be live in the off season. Not maybe like every week, but maybe like every 2 weeks, maybe every week, every now and then if I can make it work. But yeah. Chris with the 5. Here's a donation towards a new Bud hat for your collection. Maybe we can get Junior to run the Scheme Xfinity. Hashtag race the grade 8 junior. Hey, the 8 it can easily be freed up for that, I think. And I do think he'll run that at some point. I don't think he'll stick strictly to just late models or any kind of just strictly short track racing. I think that at some point he will bring that up. I just hope he can get the E font now. I'm being a picky, finicky Earnhardt fan here. It'd be nice for him to get the E font from DEI. I know that's probably another thing that he's got to work with Teresa on, or maybe work against her to get. But it looks good either way. I'm not going to complain. And I didn't complain either. I see Teresa will never let him. Hey, man, I don't know. Listen, for 17 years, we thought Teresa would never give the actual 8 font back, and now it's been given back. So never say never. I mean, we're at the point of hell freezing over, pigs flying. It's nuts, man. Especially if you were around in 2007 and like at the height of the animosity between them and the publicity of it all. Like this moment, even just being on the short track scene would seem alien to you at that time, because it was a very public and nasty breakup between them. And it really wasn't as much Dale Jr. doing it either. It was just a lot of it. Teresa said some stuff. Dale Jr. got mad a lot of it, but it wasn't necessarily like those two were throwing barbs every single week in the public. But when you have the biggest fan base in the history of NASCAR that's getting all upset, and then media starts prying all that, I mean, it was nuts at the time. That is one of those things you had to be there to really understand it. And I hate being like that old man being like, you had to be there. If you weren't there, you don't get it. It ain't like the NASCAR I grew up with. 64%, at least for the percentage that YouTube gave, say that they would have Zilich. 27% say SVG, and 7% say Love. But that will do it. So we will be live tomorrow after the Cup race. Should be a lot of fun. Knock on wood, hopefully. I'm trying to speak it into existence. But we'll be live no matter what. It'll be fun to hang out here with all of you. And then, of course, we'll be live on Wednesday night for NWP. Going to be a lot of fun. Got a lot of stuff to cover in that one. Few fun announcements, all that stuff. Keep an eye on that for sure. And then post-race for next weekend for the finale. So we got a lot to look forward to before we hit the off season. But thank you guys so much for coming on in tonight. It means a lot. Still early in the night before you have to set your clocks back. So go enjoy it. And until tomorrow, have a good one. Peace, y'all.